1 second. Let me know if you can see my screen. Okay. And folks, if you can please mute your phone if you're not asking questions, that'd be great. Okay, so good morning, happy Friday. Thanks for another session of Azure Power Lunch. Today we are gonna be talking about Azure Function Premium. And first of all, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna be talking about Azure Function Premium. As usual, kind of a quick blurb about myself. And by the way, the slide deck will be available. So the link to the slide deck is always going to be, if there's a slide deck, is going to be in the description of the video. You look there, there's a link which takes you to the slide deck. So as usual, we are going to start with some service updates. The two that I really want to talk about, the first one is, I think it's a long time coming, Azure Container Instances price reduction. So if you're not familiar with Azure Container Instances, it's a way to spin up containers very quickly. You can just basically define your image through ACR or through Docker Hub, and it will, or your private registry, and it will spin up the container. So that's a quick way to do it. They have reduced the price almost by 30 to 50% the overall impact, and you can look at it and see, and to make it more palatable for the people who want to run it for auto scaling or for dev test purposes and things like that. So that's one of the things. And the second thing is uh, service health. So there is a service health um, a portal which is available as a part of um, the Azure portal itself, and you can subscribe to Azure health related event from there. And basically you will get notification if there's a service outage or there is something happening to your instances, or we are doing some planned maintenance and things like that. So you will know about it. So I think it's a good idea to get to that um, dashboard and get familiarize yourself and set up text alerts or any type of alerts that you want. It's very extensible. So that's a part of Azure portal. And that's not a new capability, but that's something that I think everyone who is using Azure, who customers are using Azure, should be familiar with. Okay. So with that, any questions? Okay. So we are gonna start with our topic of discussion today. Hold on. And our topic is Azure Functions Premium Plan. So first of all, a few things why we needed that. As you can know, you can run Azure Functions multiple ways. You can basically run them in a consumption plan, where when you run the Azure Functions, only that time when your function is running, you are charged for it. Otherwise, you are not charged for it. So that's a very flexible way. It's truly a serverless model. Your function has a number of execution, you're charged for that. Otherwise, no charge. Okay. The second thing is the service plan, where you run the function on a service plan. That service plan can be a part of an app service plan in our multi-tenant, or an app service plan sitting on an ACE, app service environment. Okay. And in that case, basically you are charged for that app service plan. You can run no matter how many functions you can run on it. You will still be charged for those. I mean, you will still be charged for the plan. There is no charge for function execution because that is a part of it. Given that a number of customers have asked, they said we wanna, and there were each has its pros and cons. For example, in the consumption plan, you lacked connectivity to your VNets. It was not easy. I mean, you can't connect to the VNet, so that was a challenge. Second thing, cold starts that were causing issues. So that's where this function premium plan comes in. It try to gives you best of both worlds. First of all, you can run your functions, and it auto scales really, really fast. Second thing is you can connect those functions to your VNet, and if that VNet is connected to on-prem, so basically you can connect to your intranet from those functions. Okay, so here is kind of some of the high-level feature. First of all, there is no cold start. You have pre-warm instances ready to run. You can cover maximum and minimum scale. If you always getting requests, but your volume goes up at a certain time, you can set a minimum scale and then max out. Normally, if you are running function in your consumption plan, you are running on a 1 GB memory and one vCPU instance, or in this case, you are running at almost 4, 7, and 14, so larger instances. And these are better machines. These are DB2 series machines which are available for you to run those uh, Azure functions. Of course, one powerful thing is that it provides unlimited run duration. So if you're running in a consumption plan, basically your duration is, I think, 300 seconds. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in this case, there is no duration limit on the function execution. And the VNet connectivity is a part of it. Folks, one request, if you can please mute. If you're not asking a question, I will really appreciate. Okay. Next thing. So you have these dedicated workers. So as you can see, that's how the scale out work. You have pre-warmed instances, so you can set those number of instances. You have to start at this point. It's in public preview. So at this point, you have to start with a minimum of one instance. Okay. And you can go up to 20, but uh, what we may see that limit uh, going up for the maximum burst based on the how they see people using the preview, and the minimum instances we don't know, it may go to 0. So basically you have a truly elastic model where you can go from very low to a very high quick scale very quickly. Okay, and it is always on. So that's a very important thing that you have to keep in mind. And this is a quick comparison between a premium plan versus a consumption plan. So as you can see here, with consumption plan, you have 1 core and 1.5 GB of memory, and you can go up to 4 core and 14 GB of memory if you want larger instances. Okay, and both auto scale. There are no scale controls with the consumption plan. Of course, premium plan give you more scaling capabilities, give you VNet connectivity, and the thing is the warm up time. That's one of the main, kind of driver here, that you can have a uh, there is no cold start. You have warmed instances that you can use, and then you can go from there. And basically, you can go with at least one pre-warm instance per plan for premium, and then you go only pay for the scaled up. Like if, for example, for 30 minutes, let's say you are running 4 instances and then you went back to one, things like that. So that's what you pay for. Any questions before we start with the demo? Okay, no questions. So let's start with a demo. So basically, the way you start with is you start with creating a function app, and we are going to name it premium. And okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it a part of this. Uh, we're gonna use Windows. And by the way, what you will do is you will pick a app service plan. Okay, and this we already have an app service plan, but what we're gonna do is we are gonna create a new plan, and that is where and this is very important. You do an app service plan, and then you pick of course, you will pick a location, and in that location, let's say we provide, um, uh, you pick a location, and then you pick the pricing tier, and that's where it will decide that you are using an elastic, um, uh, you know, function for hosting these instances, or you are just doing a regular app service plan. These are the three instances that you have to choose: EP1, Elastic Premium 1, 2, or 3 to run these um, this plan to host your premium function. So once you do that, you will say okay, and basically, with the storage, we can say use existing, and we can best US, we can use an existing storage. And for App Insight, we are not going to do anything right now. We're going to disable it, and we say create. So what it's going to do is it's going to take a few seconds um, to create that particular function. And in the meantime, what we're going to do, we're going to create a virtual network. So we can connect this to the virtual network. So I'm just going to go in, and I'm just going to spin up a new virtual network, and I'm going to name it L. And I'm just going to keep the same uh, func plan. And basically, yes, it has created a virtual network. Let it come up. Take a second. So let's see if the function has been created. Both are going. One second. That's okay. Well, both are completed at the same time. Very cool. Okay, so we go to the function now, and what we're going to do is, so this is your function, and now you want to connect it to your virtual network. Okay, so what you do is you go to the platform features, and you go to networking, and that's very similar to how you do the networking integration. This is the new VNet integration, and you say add VNet, and it's going to ask you what VNet you want to pick. And hold on a second. It is not showing that VNet that we just created. Okay, hold on a second. What? Okay, I think we created in a West, isn't it? General settings, properties, running Elastic Premium. And by the way, it says here it is Elastic Premium. Okay. Oh, accidentally I created in South Central US. I should have created in West, but let me show you what I want to show you here. We already have a, okay. So let's say you want to attach it to a VNet. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick a VNet here. And let's say you say, I want to attach it to this VNet. Okay, what it's going to say? Okay, so this attaches it to a VNet. So now you have complete connectivity from your um, premium function all the way to the end. So I already have created a premium function plan. and it is connected to, let me show you my virtual network. Actually, show you my virtual machine. So this is a virtual machine that I'm running here. It is a part of this, FunkWest VNet VM subnet. So this is a VNet. This is its private IP address. Okay. So this is on a private IP. And what I'm doing is in this function, I am, uh, and by the way, just to prove my point, this is, I'm I have RDP'd into the machine, and there is a table in there which doesn't have any record. So what I want to do is connect to this machine. So basically, from my function, go on my private VNet and connect this database over private IP. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. Um, and if you let me just run this thing and show you how it works. So I'm gonna run it, and okay. So this function will be executed. Let's see what happens. Okay, let me run it again. I wanted to see you the console. Okay, reconnect. Okay, it's connected again. I just want to see you the console to prove my point that it's running on a uh, uh, private IP. So let me execute it. As you can see, these are the three records that have been created. So when it run, so the point is that it is connecting on a private IP through that VNet, and that's how it is kind of. Let me just close this thing one more time, okay, and come back to it here again. Give me 1 second. So here are my function apps. Let me go over there, and this is my premium function. And I'm gonna go back to this function and open the logs, and let me run this function one more time. And as you can see, look, it is connecting over this IP. This is a private IP to prove the point that is, and by the way, if you have connectivity to on-prem, then it will go to on-prem through your express route, or so that's one important thing that I want to show you. And if you see here, this is basically the live metric stream, and it has two servers online. Uh, and what we're going to do is we're going to run a little load test to see if we can put some load on the system, and you will see that how quickly it scales up. So I'm using SOAP UI, and I know you cannot see it. For some reason, it's very small. So I am running, kind of 10 threads, and I am going to start it. So yeah, so it is basically the tests are running. And let's go back to let's go back to this screen, and you will see in a few minutes that the number of servers will start going up after some time. So you will see start seeing more server come up. So Uh, and since it will keep adding more pre-warmed instances, so you will not see any delay in kind of processing your request. So that's very effective way of kind of hosting your uh, application, which needs access to on-prem, but at the same time, they need the ability to scale very, very fast. Okay, so it hasn't scaled up yet because I think it's able to take the load. Um, Let me see if I can increase the threads. Okay, let me do 20 thread. Maybe it is. But anyways, that number should go up, it should add more servers. Normally, what it does is it auto scales, but it seems like this servers is able to take the load, so it's not adding servers. But normally, when I ran it yesterday, it was increasing the number of servers. So, any questions at this time? Okay, let me close this thing and come back to it.
Hi, Navid. I have one quick question.
Go ahead.
Um, yeah, so when we are saying the private IP we can configure through the VNet, does it also mean that the accessibility of the function endpoint
No,
is also
no,
private or
no, it is public. So the thing
okay? So
is, remember, it is function accessing on-prem resources. Okay, it is not
mhm,
app. I mean, it is not the other way around because there are two sides of it. One is a function uh, front end, and the other one is the function back end. So this is basically
mhm,
since it's running on the app service infrastructure and TARIS, so the backend is able to access your VNet. Okay, it is does
gotcha.
not mean that front end can come in and access, and access can be accessible over um, what we call private IP. That
Private.
functionality is coming later this year, but that is not there yet. And by the way, look at this. I mean, as I
Yep.
said,
Server.
all
Mhm,
four are up. I mean, there's one instance which is idle, but all three instances are taking requests. So this is kind of a quick scale up. And once this thing stops, then it's going to start scaling now. So to answer your question, this functionality is to provide function the ability to access on-prem resources, but it does not provide on-prem resources to access function over private IP.
mhm.
Okay, that is something that will be available later, hopefully later this year.
Got you. So apart from AAC, if we want to, means we have one customer requirement. That's the reason I'm asking you. If we want to provide without AAC any protection on the public endpoint, what is provided by the function, is there any other option available?
I mean, if you want to do it on a private IP other than ACE,
Yeah.
yeah, there is none. Once that is available, then you have the ability to host, I mean, to kind of provide a private IP for a function, and that's public information. And eh, that capability, you will get a private IP for your function.
Mhm.
And of course, with this one, your function will be able to access on-prem resources. So you will not need an ACE to do
Yeah.
that. Okay. So that will, but I'm sure there will be other scenario where ACE will be useful, but in this one you will not need an ACE. And if you don't need the all the specificities of the ACE, then you don't need that.
Got you. Thank you.
And there was a previous session where we talked about hybrid networking capabilities of app service, and we looked into the future. And one of them discusses that scenario where once you have that, then you will have both connectivity, both. I mean, very similar to AS, but it is not. You don't have to deploy an AS. You still have the what we call a multi-tenant environment.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay. So if there are no other questions, um, I will give. Oh, by the way, sorry, I just want to show you one more thing. Let me just go back here. Oh, come on, please. Yes. Okay, so we are here, and let's go to the function side, platform features. Here is the, yes, app service plan and scale out. So these are minimum instances and this is maximum burst. So right now you can burst up to 10. This is a minimum instance that you have to have. I mean, you cannot go, this is elastic scale out. You can increase the bursts to a very high number. Okay. And then I'm gonna go back here and go to configuration. Sorry, I think I know there is one other place. Oh yeah, scale out. Okay. So you have what is plan scale out. You start with 1, go to 10, and these are the pre-mom instances that you wanna have. Okay. Right now, I mean, we have one, but you can, I mean, in the future, you will be able to more pre-warm instances available for you to scale out quickly. Okay. And with that, I just want to show you these slides. They will be available. So this is the ideal behavior we are looking from scaling, auto scaling. This is if we do a long cold start. So basically your instances, as the load increasing, your instances are catching up. And with pre-warm instances, your instances are always there, although your load goes up and down. Okay. So this is something. Okay. So last call. Any questions, comments, feedback? Okay. So I hope um, everybody had a great weekend. Have a great weekend, and see you next week for another uh, Azure Power Lunch session. And I will upload the slide deck and the presentation to our YouTube channel. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thanks, Navid. It was great.